Welcome back to TYT Sports. Francis and Jason joining you here. Last week we did a clip about Floyd Mayweather and his views towards racism in sports, specifically towards boxing and other combat sports. And he called out Conor McGregor. Well, not called him out, he referenced him, and McGregor is not one to sit back and take this on the chin. But before we get to that, we need more Twitter followers. We want to respond to you guys on Twitter, so we've got to have more followers. So you've got to hit over to TYT Sports. See this click right here? You click right there, Jason. It'll take you to the Twitter.
And what do they do?
Of course, they follow.
Follow.
All right, let's get to Conor McGregor. So, as we just mentioned, he's not one to take things lightly and not respond. So here is what he said. His recent post in which he documents another muscular, nice picture of himself. I wish I had many pictures of my shirt off like that and a cool tattoo. I would post it on my Instagram and maybe get more followers on that.
Maybe if you could grow a beard.
I wish I could. He put out a few bullet points in which he talked about the things that's happened this year and what he's thankful for, and he also mentioned Floyd Mayweather. So at number 4 there, Floyd Mayweather. Don't ever bring race into my success again. I'm an Irishman. My people have been oppressed our entire existence and still very much are. I understand the feeling of prejudice. It is a feeling that is deep in my blood. In my family's long history of warfare, there was a time where just having the name McGregor was punishable by death. Do not ever put me in a bracket like this again. If you want, we can organise a fight, no problem. I will give you a fair 80-20 split purse in my favour, seeing as your last fight bombed at every area of revenue. At 27 years of age, I now hold the key to this game. The game answers to me now. Those ain't fighting words.
Well, see, here's the only issue I have with McGregor's statements, and that's that Mayweather didn't call out McGregor in his Fight Hype interview, which again was a great interview.
But
he did reference him, and I thought, he referenced him to back up his point. And it wasn't just McGregor. I understand the first sentiment that he's making, McGregor's post of don't bring race into my success again.
That's what I was going to mention.
They're entirely separate. I understand that entirely. Second of all, it's sometimes you go too far. I'm overanalyzing this way too much in my family's long history. Don't care about that. Do not put me in that bracket again. I get that, right? But don't bring up the dumb-ass argument of fighting a boxer.
Oh, no.
Boxing rules, Mayweather wins. In UFC rules, McGregor wins.
But what about
we used to have this? We used to have this conversation. But it's a stupid conversation. I do think it was, I'm breaking this down literally sentence by sentence, 80-20 split purse in my favor. That's awesome. That's kind of comedic. Yeah. I like that.
He's going to try and hit Floyd where it hurts. But there's one thing I want to say. Right? I'm glad you pointed out the very first sentence, right? Because the first sentence is not about Mayweather calling out McGregor. It's about Mayweather
associating
putting his success in a bracket of race. So if McGregor was black, he wouldn't be as successful. Which is an argument that can be made and an argument that people can talk about. I personally think McGregor is successful, nothing to do with his race. I think he's successful because he's an exciting fighter for the sport. You look at Anderson Silva, how successful was he in the UFC, but how much do people like him because of what he brought to the sport? But
no
Conor
one was
McGregor,
as unbeatable as Anderson Silva until he got too cocky. But when he came into that fight against Weidman, it wasn't even like that was a close fight.
I know.
It wasn't supposed to be a close fight.
But there is a point that I do want to bring up for a lot of followers out there. People think that people are oppressed in the United States, which is very true. People are oppressed in the United States on race more than anything else. People in the United Kingdom, race is an issue. It happens all around the world, but specifically in that conflict between Irish and English, Irish people are oppressed. They have been oppressed for years. So Conor McGregor is relating to that. He does not like the fact that race has been brought to his name when he has dealt with conflict his entire life. And people who are grown up in Ireland had to live in fear for many years. And Conor McGregor understands that, so I guess he's upset because it's often, because Mayweather brought him into that argument because of the colour of his skin, when McGregor, he's never really faced those views on race in the United Kingdom because they're not as prominent anywhere, I don't think, as they are in the United States. It's black and white in the United States, whereas you go to the United Kingdom, there's conflicts between Scottish and English, there's conflicts between Catholic and Protestants, there's conflicts between Irish and English. That is an important point that McGregor's trying to make there, is that he does not want to be categorised in that. His success, he believes, is nothing to do with where he was, or whether or not he's white or black in the United States. And I think that's a fair point for him.
I think fair, that is true.
Nonetheless, to get out from the deep side of it, let's bring ourselves back to the beach and let's talk about the fact is that he is ever so cocky and he believes that the only way to resolve this between him and Mayweather is a fight.
Well, okay, here's the thing. He's a fighter. I mean, if you're a fighter and you can fight like McGregor, sure, fight. But that's, like, to me, the more I realized over the past couple of months, like, the argument of, like, a boxer fighting a UFC fighter, it is actually the dumbest argument in the history of sports. It's up there. Because there's no ground rules that have ever been made between the two. Yeah. There's no fair battle that ever been between the two. Yes, in a boxing match, Mayweather wins by a landslide. In a UFC fight, McGregor wins in a landslide.
But what happens?
There's literally no in between the two of them.
But there's none. There is combining them, as Holly Holm provided. She's a boxer.
Until I see until I see some boxer of, like, maybe Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman get into an octagon with someone. Danny Garcia would maybe be like Mighty Mouse as a Demetrius Johnson, and they figure out, like, round 1 box. Okay, round 2
it's like
kickbox.
Like a street fight.
All right, round 3. Who knows?
Finish him.
Finish him. Tekken.
Yeah,
style.
I agree.
Mortal Kombat.
That is the only way. It's an argument people like to be subjective about. Oh no, well, McGregor can punch the way a boxer can punch. You've seen how much he can strike with that left hand of his. He's dominant, and McGregor always talks about that message, is that precision beats power, and that's what he thinks he could do. Is that he is more precise, and he could potentially throw that towards Mayweather. But let's be honest, Mayweather hasn't been hit in how long? I mean, he's been hit. When's the last time Mayweather took a real hard punch? Because no one can touch him because he's so fast, he's so dominant. So with that counter,
takes a lot of hugs in the ring, man.
Yeah, he would be able to hug himself.
At least that's what many people say.
But it's still a fun conversation to have. Would Superman beat Batman? We're going to get a movie about it. Maybe we'll get a McGregor Mayweather movie.
Neil deGrasse Tyson answered that question. Superman versus Batman. Who does Superman report to?
Who?
Nobody. Superman has no higher power that he has to report to.
Who's Batman report to? Alfred.
Gary Cole? Yeah, Alfred, not just Alfred. The police commissioner.
Yeah, Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, but thank you, Commissioner Gordon.
He doesn't report to him. He just upholds that moral value. But the same way as Superman, he upholds moral value as well. If he didn't, then, I mean, he is often viewed as an alien, and he could probably get away with not having as much morals as Batman. But we're really getting into this argument.
Yeah, we're going to get into this argument because, just so you know really quick, that the idea is, like, the only way to actually beat Superman is Batman has to go find some kryptonite, so he has to go to a different planet where he likely cannot breathe, right? Science.
Have you seen Smallville?
And shove a bunch of that kryptonite up Superman's ass.
According to Smallville, there's just kryptonite everywhere.
Drinking coffee?
Kryptonite
everywhere?
According to Smallville, that show that was on TV, there was kryptonite everywhere.
Batman would literally die. There would be his back would not be broken in 6 places for him to go into a 65-foot ditch for it to get held up by rope.
And then find his way back in a day.
Find his way back to kill Bane. I'm sorry, not kill him. Fight Bane. No, Batman dies. Round 1, 13 seconds.
And on that note, we'll bring it back. Well, so let's open it back up to our audience. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. Not just about Batman versus Superman, but what is your views on Conor McGregor's response to Floyd Money Mayweather? Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at Francis_Maxwell, at JasonRubin91, and as we mentioned at the start, at TYT Sports. Hit the subscribe button as well, if I didn't already say that. And again.